Lightning doesn't care about your survival plan. It doesn't care about your impressive stockpile of canned beans. It doesn't care that you've memorized the entire wilderness survival handbook. Lightning is basically nature's way of saying, "Oh, you thought you were in charge down there. That's adorable." Check out our merch. Use the discount code YouTube, link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Today we're talking about one of the most overlooked killers in any post-apocalyptic scenario: electrical storms. I'm going to teach you how to outsmart lightning. Mostly. I say mostly because, let's be real, lightning travels at about 270,000 miles per hour and reaches temperatures 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. We're not really outsmarting it so much as politely asking it to choose a different target. But knowledge is power. Specifically, the power to not become a human lightning rod. So let's get into it. Lightning is essentially static electricity on a catastrophic scale. You know when you shuffle across a carpet in socks and then touch a doorknob? Same concept. Except instead of a tiny zap and a mild annoyance, we're talking about 300 million volts and a very bad day. Here's the breakdown. Storm clouds build up electrical charge. The bottom of the cloud becomes negatively charged, while the ground below becomes positively charged. These opposite charges really want to meet each other. It's like the world's most dangerous romance. Eventually, the attraction becomes too strong, and boom, a channel of electricity rips through the air at roughly 270,000 miles per hour, superheating the air around it to about 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That superheated air expands so rapidly, it creates a shockwave. That shockwave is what we call thunder. So when you hear thunder, that's literally the sound of air exploding, because it got too hot too fast. Fun, right? Now here's the important part for your survival. Lightning takes the path of least resistance. It wants to get from the cloud to the ground as efficiently as possible. And what makes a path efficient? Height and conductivity. Tall things get hit more because they're closer to the cloud. Conductive things get hit more because electricity flows through them easily. So if you're the tallest thing in an area, or you're standing next to something tall and conductive, congratulations. You've just volunteered as tribute. The average lightning bolt contains about 1 billion joules of energy. For reference, that's enough to power a 100-watt light bulb for about 3 months, all delivered in a fraction of a second. Directly into whatever was unlucky enough to be in its path. All right, let's play everyone's favorite apocalypse game. Where should I absolutely not be when lightning decides to throw a tantrum? First up, open fields. You know those beautiful wide-open plains that look so peaceful and cinematic? In a thunderstorm, that's basically a targeting range, and you're the target. If you're the tallest thing around, lightning sees you like a lighthouse in the dark, a very flammable, very conductive lighthouse made of meat and regret. Trees. Oh, trees. People love hiding under trees during storms. It feels so intuitive, right? Natural shelter. What could go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong. Trees are tall. Trees are full of moisture, which makes them conductive. Lightning loves trees. And when lightning hits a tree, several terrible things happen in rapid succession. The tree can explode from the rapidly vaporizing sap. Shrapnel goes everywhere. The electrical current can jump from the tree to you through something called a side flash. And even if that doesn't happen, the ground current spreading from the strike point can still zap you through your feet. Water bodies, rivers, lakes, ponds, that suspicious puddle that might have been a swimming pool once. All of these are places you should evacuate immediately when you see a storm coming. Water conducts electricity beautifully. If lightning hits anywhere near a body of water you're in, or even standing next to, that electrical current is going to spread through the water and find you. Fish don't survive lightning strikes. You won't either. Metal structures. Now, this one is interesting because it depends on the structure. A fully enclosed metal structure, like an intact vehicle or a shipping container, can actually be one of the safest places to be. Not because the rubber tires insulate you, that's a myth, but because of something called a Faraday cage effect. The metal shell conducts the electricity around the outside, keeping the interior relatively safe. However, random metal debris, metal fencing, that shopping cart you've been using to haul supplies, those are not Faraday cages. Those are just conductive objects that will happily channel lightning directly into your body. Big difference. Caves and overhangs might seem like good options, but shallow caves and rock overhangs can actually be dangerous. The electrical current can arc across the opening, and if the rock is wet, it becomes conductive. Deep caves are safer, but then you're dealing with other apocalypse problems like what else might be living in that deep cave. The safest location, if we're being honest, is a fully enclosed structure with proper grounding, which in the apocalypse translates to good luck finding one of those. So we work with what we have and minimize risk factors wherever possible. So you're caught outside in a storm. The sky is doing its best impression of an angry god. Lightning is flashing all around you. What do you do with your actual physical body to minimize the chances of becoming extra crispy? First, and most importantly, get low, but not flat. This is crucial. Your instinct might be to drop to the ground and make yourself as small as possible. Resist that instinct. Lying flat actually increases your contact with the ground, which means if lightning strikes nearby, the ground current has more of your body to travel through. Instead, you want to crouch down on the balls of your feet with your feet together. Keep your heels touching. Put your hands over your ears to protect against the sound concussion from nearby strikes, and tuck your head down. This position minimizes both your height and your ground contact. You're a small target from above, and if ground current does reach you, it has a short path through your body, from one foot to the other, rather than traveling through your vital organs. This position is uncomfortable. It's undignified. You'll look like you're doing some kind of apocalyptic yoga, but it works, and looking silly beats looking dead. Spacing is also critical if you're in a group. Spread out at least 15 to 20 feet apart from each other. This sounds counterintuitive when you're scared, but if lightning strikes one person, it can jump to nearby people through side flash. By spacing out, you ensure that a single strike doesn't take out your entire group. Plus, if someone does get hit, others can perform first aid, which, by the way, you should learn. Lightning strike victims can often be revived with CPR, and contrary to popular belief, they don't retain any electrical charge. You won't get shocked by touching them. Now, about insulation. In the pre-apocalypse world, we had rubber mats and specialized equipment. In the wasteland, we improvise. Rubber-soled shoes provide minimal protection, but they're better than bare feet or wet leather. A dry sleeping pad or a stack of dry clothing can provide some insulation from ground current. Anything non-conductive between you and the ground is helpful. What you absolutely want to avoid is holding anything metal. Drop that metal walking stick. Set down those scavenged tools. Step away from that chain link fence you were thinking about climbing. Metal objects don't attract lightning per se, but they do conduct it extremely well, and you do not want to be holding the path of least resistance. Wet items become much more conductive than dry items. If your clothes are soaked, they're not insulating you anymore. Get to shelter, if at all possible, or at least try to minimize contact between wet fabric and your skin. Finally, watch for warning signs that a strike is imminent. If your hair starts standing on end, if you hear a crackling or buzzing sound, if you feel a tingling sensation on your skin, or if metal objects near you start humming, a strike is likely about to happen within seconds. Immediately drop into that crouching position. Do not run. Do not think about it. Just drop. You probably have less than 3 seconds. In a world where all the good buildings have either collapsed, been looted, or are occupied by things you'd rather not meet, we need to talk about creating makeshift shelter specifically designed for storm survival. The goal here is simple. Create a barrier between you and the elements while not turning yourself into a lightning magnet. These two goals can sometimes conflict, so we're looking for the best compromise. First option, the debris hut. In a survival situation, you've probably already learned to build these. Low to the ground, made of branches and leaves, it provides cover from rain and wind without making you the tallest point in the area. The key modification for lightning safety is to avoid building against a tall tree. I know the tree seems convenient. I know it feels natural. The tree is trying to kill you. Build your hut in a lower area, away from lone tall objects. Second option, the pit shelter. If you have time before a storm hits and soft enough ground, dig yourself a shallow pit. Even 12 to 18 inches of depth can help. Line it with non-conductive materials, dry leaves, dry grass, that disgusting mattress you wouldn't sleep on otherwise. Create a cover from branches and debris. You're now below ground level, which makes you less of a target, and you have some protection from rain and wind. Plus, if the storm brings flooding, you can always climb out, hopefully. Third option, the vehicle shell. Abandoned vehicles are everywhere in the apocalypse, which is convenient because they make decent lightning shelters. An intact car or truck with a metal roof functions as a Faraday cage. Get inside, close all the windows and doors, and do not touch any metal parts that connect to the outside. The seats, the dashboard, the non-metal parts of the interior, those are fine. The door frame, the window crank, the steering column, leave those alone until the storm passes. If the vehicle isn't intact, like if it's missing windows or has huge holes in the body, it's much less effective. At that point, it's only marginally better than being outside. Fourth option, the supply crate fort. Shipping containers, storage containers, large metal boxes. Same principle as vehicles. Fully enclosed metal structures channel electricity around the outside. Just make sure it's actually fully enclosed and not just 3 walls and a hole where lightning can reach in and tap you on the shoulder. What you want to avoid in any improvised shelter is height and conductivity. Don't build on top of a hill. Don't use metal poles as structural supports. Don't run metal guy wires from your shelter to the ground. And for the love of whatever you still believe in, don't cover your shelter in reflective metal sheeting just because it looked cool. Nothing says hit me to lightning quite like a shiny metal roof on a hilltop. Alright, so we've covered what to do when the storm is happening. But the best survival strategy, as always, is preparation. Let's talk about getting ready before the sky starts throwing tantrums. Step 1. Learn to read the sky. Those big, fluffy, flat-bottomed clouds that tower upward like nature's skyscrapers. Those are cumulonimbus clouds, and they're basically storm factories. When you see them building on the horizon, you have a window of time to prepare. Use it. Don't wait until you can hear thunder to start thinking about shelter. The 30-30 rule is a useful guideline. If the time between seeing lightning and hearing thunder is less than 30 seconds, the storm is within 6 miles, and you should already be in shelter. After the last thunder, wait 30 minutes before resuming normal activities. Lightning can strike from clouds up to 10 miles away from rainfall, so don't assume you're safe just because it's not raining on you yet. Step 2. Secure your camp and supplies. Loose items become projectiles in high winds. That tarp you've been using as a roof, tie it down or take it down. Those crates of supplies stacked precariously, lower them and secure them. Anything that can blow away will blow away, usually into something valuable or directly at your face. Electronics, if you still have any functioning electronics, should be protected from both water and electrical surge. Wrap them in waterproof material and keep them away from anything conductive. A direct lightning strike in your vicinity can induce currents in nearby electronics, frying them even without direct contact. That salvaged radio you've been using for communication. It would be a real shame to lose it because you left it sitting on a metal table during a storm. Step 3. Establish a storm routine. When storms are a regular threat, having a practiced routine saves time and mental energy when conditions start deteriorating. Everyone in your group should know where the designated shelter spot is. Everyone should know their role in securing the camp. Everyone should know the rally point if people get separated. This sounds like overkill until you're trying to remember what to do while rain is blasting sideways and lightning is cracking. Overhead, and your brain has decided that panic is the appropriate response to everything. Routines bypass panic. Practice them when conditions are calm. Step 4. Water management. Storms mean rain, and rain means water, which can be both a resource and a hazard. Have containers ready to collect clean rainwater, but position them away from areas where you'll be sheltering. Flash flooding is a real danger in many areas, so know the topography around your camp, that convenient depression where you've set up. It might be a drainage path when the water really starts flowing. Step 5. Post-storm assessment. After a storm passes, don't immediately rush back to normal activities. Check for damaged structures before entering them. Watch for downed power lines if you're in an area that still has electrical infrastructure, and be aware that lightning can ignite fires, especially in dry conditions. So look for smoke in the surrounding area. Also, check on everyone in your group. Lightning strikes aren't always immediately obvious. Someone might have been affected without realizing the severity. Look for burns, confusion, muscle pain, or irregular heartbeat. These can all be signs of lightning injury, even from near miss. This is actually liberating if you think about it. You can't negotiate with lightning. You can't fight it. You can't trick it. All you can do is understand how it works and position yourself accordingly. And that understanding, that knowledge, That's what separates survivors from statistics. So the next time the sky starts rumbling and the clouds start building and that primitive part of your brain starts screaming about angry sky gods, remember, you know things now. You know how lightning works. You know where to be and where not to be. You know how to position your body and prepare your shelter and protect your group. Lightning is fast and hot and powerful and utterly indifferent to your existence. But you're smart and you're prepared and you're adaptable. In the long run, that counts for a lot. Stay low, stay educated, and stay alive out there, survivors. This is your friendly neighborhood apocalypse educator signing off until next time. And remember, if your hair starts standing up, stop listening to this and assume the position immediately. I'll still be here when the storm passes.